The story begins on a planet called Saris, where a girl named Naveen is standing on a beach, learning how to whistle by putting her fingers in her mouth. Her parents, Mills and Aaliyah, are watching her with smiling eyes. Just then, Mills tells his wife that he has to go on a space mission for 2 years. He says he is worried about how he will explain this to Naveen. Both husband and wife are anxious because Mills has never stayed away from home for such a long time, and he is doing all this to collect money for Naveen's treatment, as she is suffering from an illness. After that, Mills goes to Naveen and starts teaching her how to whistle. At that moment, Naveen says that she already knows he is going away and that the reason is her. But Mills comforts her and says that he won't be gone for very long. Before leaving, they create many beautiful memories together. Sometime later, Mills is on his mission. Everything is going perfectly. But suddenly, one night, when all the scientists inside the spaceship are asleep, the ship enters an area filled with asteroids. Mills immediately receives an alarm signal, and the spaceship begins colliding with space rocks. The ship suffers heavy damage. Mills tries his best to regain control of the failing systems, but unfortunately, he is unable to do so. With no other option left, he is forced to make an emergency landing on an unknown planet. As the spaceship crashes downward, it breaks into two pieces. Before losing consciousness, the only thing flashing before Mills's eyes are memories of his daughter. After some time, Mills regains consciousness and pulls a piece of metal lodged in his stomach. He treats his wounds, puts his spacesuit back on, and begins inspecting the ship carefully. That's when he realizes that many crucial parts of the spaceship are missing. For safety, Mills picks up a weapon and jumps out of the ship. As soon as he steps outside, he sees the dead bodies of his entire crew. He is shocked. In panic, he sends a signal to his home planet and then removes his spacesuit. Surprisingly, the planet's atmosphere is breathable. Mills has no trouble breathing, but seeing his crew dead completely breaks him from the inside. He loses the will to live. However, thinking about his family stops him. He begins watching some videos sent by his daughter, which brings tears to his eyes. A few moments later, Mills receives a signal on his system. Filled with hope, he immediately runs toward its source. Soon, he finds the missing part of the spaceship, where he discovers that a young girl is still alive. Mills pulls the unconscious girl out and carries her toward the remaining part of the ship. On the way, he notices a huge claw mark on the wet ground, which deeply confuses him. Then a shocking truth is revealed. The planet Mills has landed on is none other than Earth, but 6.5 crore 65 million years in the past, when dinosaurs existed on the planet. The next day, Mills starts searching for the part of the spaceship that contains the emergency spacecraft, but his scanner fails to detect it, so he tries to understand the surrounding area. That's when he comes across the remains of the bones of a massive creature, which appeared to have died recently. Suddenly, a burst of hot water erupts from beneath the ground. As he moves forward, he notices a sudden flash of light in the distance. He scans the area and soon realizes that the other part of the spaceship is lying on the opposite side of a hill. At that moment, a small dinosaur suddenly attacks Mills, but he easily overpowers and kills the creature. As Mills starts heading back toward the ship, he moves through the jungle, but suddenly he heard some sounds coming from nearby. Soon it turned out that it was the same girl whose life he had saved the previous night. Mills tried to approach her, but the moment she saw him, the girl started running away. Mills called out to her and ran after her. During the chase, both of them slipped down a slope and fell, stopping right beside the carcass of a dinosaur. Suddenly, they heard a deep roar and saw a huge dinosaur approaching them. Forced by fear, both of them started running. After returning to the spaceship, Mills began treating the girl's injuries and asked her name. However, she replied in a language Mills couldn't understand. He checked the ship's passenger list and realized her name was Koa, to which the girl nodded in agreement. Mills then understood that there was only one way to leave the planet. They had to find the emergency spacecraft, which was located on the top of a mountain. Since Koa couldn't understand his language, Mills drew some pictures, which finally helped her understand. Koa also drew pictures and asked about her parents. Mills told her that they were on the same mountain. He then began talking to her about family. After that, Mills recorded a new message saying that he had found a living girl and that they desperately needed help. In another room, Koa found video messages that Naveen had sent to her father and began watching them excitedly. It was revealed that Mills had completed his mission and was finally returning home after 2 years when the spaceship crashed. The early messages were happy, but gradually Naveen began to look troubled by her illness and by the absence of her father. Before Koa could finish watching the videos, Mills arrived and stopped them. He strictly forbade her from watching those videos. Then Mills picked up some small bombs, and both of them set out through a jungle filled with dangerous creatures. During the journey, Koa saw something shining in the sky, but she didn't pay much attention to it. After some time, She found some berries in the forest and teasingly started throwing them at Mills. Mills put one berry into his scanner and discovered that the berries were poisonous. He scolded her and told her not to play with them. Koa immediately understood and stopped. A little later, they saw a small dinosaur trapped in a swamp. Despite Mills telling her not to, Koa ran to save it. Mills eventually joined her, and together they freed the creature. However, the dinosaur couldn't get very far because suddenly a pack of predators attacked it and tore it apart. Seeing this brutal world, Koa became frightened and started crying. Mills immediately grabbed her and hid behind a nearby rock so the predators wouldn't notice them. After the dangerous animals left, Mills and Koa continued their journey and soon reached the bank of a small river. When their water bottle became empty, Mills told Koa to fill it from the river, saying the water was clean and wouldn't kill them. Koa agreed and filled the bottle. During this time, Mills watched her lovingly, reminded of his own daughter. Later, Koa returned with water and also brought a flower, trying to place it in Mills' hair. At first, Mills refused, saying that only women wear such things. But when he saw Koa become sad, he finally agreed. Then they continued their journey. Soon, Mills lost the path to the other part of his spaceship, so he decided to climb a tree to rescan the area. He managed to locate the ship, but suddenly a swarm of wild insects climbed onto his arm. When he tried to shake them off, he lost his balance and fell hard to the ground, badly injuring his shoulder. Ironically, on a planet full of dinosaurs, it was the insects that caused him the most harm. Groaning in pain, Mills staggered back to the tree. At that moment, a group of dangerous dinosaurs approached them. Mills asked Koa to place her foot on his arm so he could push his shoulder back into place, easing the pain. Then he moved forward and started shooting at the dinosaurs. When he realized there were too many of them, he told Koa to run away to stay safe. Koa ran and hid near the trunk of a tree, while Mills continued throwing bombs at the dinosaurs. Suddenly, Koa heard gunfire, but then realized that the dinosaurs had surrounded her. She ran desperately to save her life, but the dinosaurs kept chasing her and soon came very close. Just when all hope seemed lost, Mills arrived and shot them all down. Unfortunately, one dinosaur survived and grabbed Koa, dragging her toward the jungle. Mills immediately chased after it, fired his gun to scare the creature, and somehow managed to save Koa's life. The entire incident terrified the little girl. Because of the language barrier, Mills couldn't talk to her properly, but he stayed close to comfort her. As darkness began to fall, Mills taught Koa how to whistle using her fingers, just like he used to teach his daughter. Then they set out again. After walking for some time, they found a cave and decided to spend the night there. Mills set up motion sensors so he could be alerted in advance to any nearby danger. Then Mills checked his second device and discovered that the asteroid his ship had collided with was nothing compared to a much larger asteroid now heading straight toward Earth. This realization deeply worried him. Just then, Koa distracted him by showing that she had picked up a cassette containing Naveen's video messages. Without asking how she got it, Mills became angry at Koa for taking it. When Koa became sad, Mills tried to cheer her up by playing the recording. Seeing Naveen again brought happiness to both of them in that difficult moment. Later, when Mills tried to sleep, he remembered how his wife Aaliyah had called him and told him that Naveen had died in the hospital. Remembering this, Mills broke down and cried uncontrollably. That night, the motion sensor suddenly activated, waking Mills. He rushed to Koa, who was sleeping, and noticed foam coming from her mouth. Alarmed, Mills quickly opened her mouth and saw an insect inside. He carefully removed it, but the danger was not over yet because a huge dinosaur had entered the cave. Mills immediately fired his gun and injured one of the dinosaur's eyes. Enraged, the dinosaur began smashing the cave. Mills grabbed Koa and ran deeper into the cave, where the massive predator could not reach. Using his device, Mills desperately searched for an exit, but suddenly several small yet extremely dangerous dinosaurs appeared in front of them. They were forced to run even deeper until they reached a dead end. Completely exhausted and hopeless, Mills tried to dig and widen the cave wall, but it wasn't easy. Hours passed there. Koa, however, proved to be very stubborn and kept digging desperately, driven by the hope of finding her family. Seeing this, Mills said that he had lied and told her to stop, that her parents were not waiting on the mountain. But Koa couldn't understand his language and continued digging, which made Mills feel even worse. Finally, Mills came up with a plan and used small bombs to blast open the cave wall. The plan worked. Afterward, Mills gave some bombs to Koa so they could help her if they got separated. Then both of them crawled forward through the narrow path. Unfortunately, because of the explosion, the rocks began to shift and the cave started collapsing. As a result, they were separated. Mills panicked, thinking Koa might be dead. Soon, however, he heard the sound of Koa whistling, which brought him some relief. Mills began searching for another way out. On the way, he encountered the same large dinosaur he had previously scared away. Due to the darkness, Mills couldn't see clearly, so he activated the scanning mode on his device. He realized the dinosaur was right behind him, and a fierce fight broke out. The dinosaur knocked Mills' gun away, giving him no chance to shoot, and then started biting his arm. Somehow, Mills managed to push the creature away and rushed toward his scanner. Using the scanner, he emitted different sounds, which distracted the dinosaur. Taking advantage of the moment, Mills retrieved his gun and killed the dinosaur. Meanwhile, Koa, wandering through the jungle, found a large bone and picked it up as a weapon. She coated it with poisonous berries, wrapped it with a thick strap, and placed it in her bag before continuing her journey. On the other side, Mills finally made it out of the cave. He saw a bright object in the sky and scanned it with his device. The device warned him that the asteroid's impact with Earth would be catastrophic, and that if he wanted to survive, he had to escape before the collision. He now had only 12 hours left. A worried Mills went searching for Koa. After some time, he heard her screaming. Koa was screaming because a dinosaur was approaching her. Mills rushed to save her, but unfortunately he fell into a swamp, which slowly began pulling him under. Meanwhile, Koa hid inside a hollow dried tree, which was actually a trap for dinosaurs. As soon as the creature entered, Koa escaped and blocked the exit, throwing the small bombs inside. A massive explosion followed, killing the dinosaur. Just then, Koa heard Mills screaming and saw that he was sinking into the swamp. Only his head was still above the swamp. At the very last moment, Koa leaned a branch toward him, and with its help, Mills pulled himself out. As soon as he was safe, Mills hugged Koa tightly and thanked her. Pointing toward the burning asteroid in the sky, he told her that they had to hurry. They moved forward, and as night fell, the sky filled with meteors. Soon, they reached a steep cliff. Mills helped the girl climb up so she could tie a rope at the top. Koa secured the rope to a large rock and threw it down, allowing Mills to climb up as well. At last, they reached the missing part of the spaceship, where Mills searched for the emergency aircraft. He felt relieved to discover that it was still functional. Just then, they received a message saying that a rescue spaceship was also on its way to save them, which made Mills even happier. However, Koa was not happy at all because she was searching for her parents and couldn't find them anywhere. She became angry with Mills for lying to her. Suddenly, the sky lit up as burning meteors tore through the dark clouds. To comfort the sad girl, Mills began talking about his daughter. He told Koa that he had come on this mission to earn money for her treatment, but she had still died. Although Koa couldn't understand his words, she felt his pain and hugged him. At that moment, a small meteorite crashed into the nearby forest, a fragment of the massive asteroid heading toward Earth. Terrified, they quickly jumped into the emergency aircraft. Just as they were preparing to take off, two meteoroids struck the ship, causing the aircraft to slide down the mountain. During the crash, Mills lost consciousness. When Koa tried to launch the aircraft, the system informed her that it could not be launched from that position. Suddenly, a huge dinosaur attacked their aircraft. Mills noticed that his weapon was lying outside, so he unfastened his belt and rushed out to retrieve it. He tried to fire at the dinosaur, but the weapon wasn't activated. The situation worsened when another dinosaur joined the attack. Moments later, the dinosaurs crushed the spot where Mills was hiding, severely injuring him. He felt completely trapped and helpless. Then Koa picked up his device and began projecting a live hologram of Naveen. In the video, Naveen says how much she loves her father. Seeing this filled Mills with emotion, while both dinosaurs mistook the projection for something real and attacked it. Mills's gun was now ready, and in a single burst he killed the first dinosaur. But the second dinosaur spotted Koa, who was operating the projector from the spaceship. Charging toward her, the dinosaur overturned the ship. Mills fired continuously and killed it as well, but now he was out of ammunition. However, the first dinosaur was still alive and began chasing Mills. Mills ran with all his strength, and just as the dinosaur was about to strike him, Koa suddenly attacked its eye with the bone weapon she had prepared earlier, coated with poisonous berries. The dinosaur screamed in pain, and at that moment a burst of boiling water erupted onto it, burning it alive and killing it instantly. Finally, both of them breathed a sigh of relief and returned to the aircraft. They immediately took off. Just seconds later, the massive asteroid struck Earth, causing a catastrophic explosion, an event that likely led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. Through this painful mission, it seemed that Mills had been given his daughter back, this time in the form of Koa. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.